Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. As you all know, I'm Jamila Brown, co host and co founder of the 5 Minute Career Hack. And we've been doing a series of lives that are leading us to Destination Burn the Rulebook Career Transformation Lab. And tonight we have another special guest for you that's also going to be at the Career Transformation Lab. Now, this guest is going to be closing us out on Thursday night, October 17th. So the entire Career Transformation Lab Burn the Rule Book is October 15th through the 17th. It's a 3-day immersive experience. And this particular guest, because of what she's doing in this space, we couldn't have picked a better person to help give us the tactical tools. Now that we've worked on our purpose, we've gotten into preparation mode. Now it's time to position ourselves on that third day. So we wanted to kind of give you guys a little preview of what you're going to get on that third night. If you haven't already registered, you can click the link in the description show notes of this live. We'll make sure we're able to get you a seat at the table. And you can use Steph's code STEPH and get 25% off your ticket. And don't be selfish. Share this with a friend. Okay. Share this with a friend. So we're gonna jump right into the live tonight. And I always like a little participation. So I've got my comments up and I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of this preview because we're not just coming on here to promote the event. We're also going to give you some things to walk away with that you can actually start doing right now and be sure that you're ready for the lab, but also take some things away. So with that being said, let's get right into it, Steph. Thanks for being on tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're so excited to have you here tonight, but as well as for the Career Transformation Lab. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Awesome. So my first question for the night is number one, what are people most afraid of when they find themselves either ready to pivot in their career, industry, whatever that might be? What is the thing that people are most afraid of when it's time to pivot? What have you seen in the people that you've coached?
Yeah, I think a lot of the fear revolves around not being certain, right? Like not having that security. When you're in a job, even if it's a job you don't love, you have a certain level of security that you're comfortable, you have a wage. And when you make that transition, you're just not sure what the team's going to look like. You're not sure what the culture is going to look like, what the future of that organization is. And so some people are afraid to make that pivot from something they're not maybe very happy doing into something they're really excited about just because that security might not be there. And I think that's, it's kind of a false sense of security though, because over the past, few years, what I've noticed is that no job is secure. I've seen people get laid off 25 years in an organization and they're 2 years away from retirement and they've experienced a
Mm,
layoff. They restructure them out or, something happens. And so I think the biggest thing to remember is, we spend so much of our time at work. And so really, focusing on the things that you want to do and knowing that even if you do make a change and something happens, something could have happened if you didn't make a change. And so it's, what price can you put on enjoying your job and being happy at work? I think that's just more beneficial than feeling that maybe false sense of security.
right. And I was having a coaching call middle of the day, right after lunch, and my client said these words out of their mouth. And to your point, it's a false sense of security. Nobody's necessary. This is what the client said. Nobody's doing what I'm doing, so I think my job's secure. And I was like, oh, oh. And again, no, not a knock to this person. Extremely talented, decades of experience. I mean, cross functionally, you name the resume is stout, right? But to believe that a company, and this is, my opinion, to believe that a company is going to choose you, this system, this organism is going to choose you over the health of the business is a false sense of security,
Hmm.
right? So whether that is I need to reorganize, restructure, lay off, um, finances aren't what they need to be, or we're going in a different direction. We need to change our business model or adapt our business model for AI or whatever it might be. And to think that they're going to choose you over that is, again, that false sense of security. And
Hmm.
sometimes, that's the decision. That's actually the decision. I've been in those meetings. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. They're not thinking about you actually. They're just trying to make sure the business runs, and I don't think it would be any different for anyone else at the helm of an organization like that. So I love that you put that out there. That it's money, it's a false sense of security that I'm going to be able to like wait this out and get to the next transition, but there's no guarantee.
Exactly. And it's just companies are really focusing on their bottom line. And even something as simple as the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement is going in a very different direction that I don't think anyone expected. So I've talked to people who are in the DE&I space and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to get a job now because this is what I've been doing and companies are not sure about it. So it really goes to show that we don't know what the future has to hold. And so, valuing the moment right now and finding something you love to do is just something that will make a huge difference in your life.
It's so true. And I hadn't probably made the connection because we've spent a lot of time at the 5 Minute Career Hack talking about what's happening with DEI and the change and some of the things that have even happened in Texas broadly with DEI. And it's like there was a lot of jobs created, a lot of positions, a lot of C-suite positions were created as well at large organizations that are going away or being, just kind of the budgets being cut for that part of the
hmm
company. So to your point, there's going to be a lot of people trying to figure out how to then, transition to what might be next for them. But if you're in DEI right now, and I'm not saying that it's all 100% going to get wiped off of the face of the earth, but that could happen too. And, we're here to support you. We're here to help you because you're going to have to now take all of those skills that you've learned, not just in that space, but in other spaces prior, and be able to apply them to what's next for you. But to sit back, really, our motto at the 5 Minute Career Hack is no fluff, all action. You can't sit back and wait for it to happen to you. We're all about you taking control of your career, taking control of your compensation. So if you need security in your compensation, the best security is if you're in control, not someone else. So
Absolutely.
being able to have those options, knowing that you've got options on the table to negotiate whatever that might be for you is super important. So next I want to ask you, what's one of the biggest challenges people face when they're trying to pivot? What have you seen?
I think the thing that people don't realize is how beneficial their transferable skills can be. So I worked with someone who was a director in a bank and her goal, she was later in her career just looking for the last like 10 years, wanted to do something she was more passionate about. And so she wanted to transition into the nonprofit world. And she was using her banking resume and applying to these nonprofit roles. And of course, she wasn't getting any callbacks. And so the key was really to focus on the things that the hiring manager was looking for, those transferable skills. So instead of talking about her banking work where she was, managing teams and, doing customer service and meeting targets, we talked about the community development work that she did. We talked about how she started a culture club at her work in order to, bring the team in to go do volunteer opportunities and to give back to the community. The board membership she served on, the fundraising that she did, we focused on all those different things that really brought value to this hiring manager. And when we did that, she was able to land a role in 3 months after we made this switch in her resume, and that just made a huge difference in terms of
Mm,
resonating with them. And so I think a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, I really want to make this transition. I want to, I'm a manager now. I want to switch industries, but I know I probably have to take a step back. And I'm like,
man.
do you have to take a step back? You probably don't. If you're a manager, you can easily move into another manager position in another industry. So I think it's really just about focusing on those transferable skills and sometimes having that outside perspective. They're showing you, hey, this is your value. You can bring this to the table just because it's a different industry or maybe a different product if you're in sales. It's all transferable skills, and that's what they're looking for at the end of the day. They can teach you about the product, they can teach you about their systems, they can teach you about their processes, but they want to know that you can bring those skills to the table. And so really framing that on your personal branding to showcase what you can offer makes a huge difference.
Yeah, there was so much you said there, but the thing that resonated with me and that because I we hear the exact same thing. Most people come to us and they I don't even want to use the word discredit, but they devalue the things that they've done in their career and they don't think they're worthy even the things that they've done, nor do they think they're worthy of what they believe they want to do. And so there's this coaching that has to happen for you to for us to kind of hold up a mirror and show you, hey, well, you did this and you did this, right? And these things are what are needed over here. And they're just kind of like, like how a dog kind of like tilts their head a little. It's that reaction that they get, like, I never thought about that, right? And I think the mindset that you need to be in is what I took from that. Is there's a mindset that you have to carry around the things that you've done in your career, and a belief level you have to make the transition. And I'm not, I'm a coach, obviously you're a coach, and I'm not saying like come work with us, but man, work with someone. Because
Mhm.
when it's about you, even myself, I have coaches, plural. You have blind spots about you and the things you've done and how you feel about you and the things you've done, and what you can do in the future. So instead of, leaving yourself to yourself, right? I strongly recommend getting someone that can kind of hold that mirror up and celebrate you and let you know what you're actually capable of. And I will tell you, it's one of the best things I ever did in my life. Um, was get a mentor at a point where I knew I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. And I'm just so thankful that I, latched on, and it changed my career. Like, in one meeting, my career just took off. And I'm so thankful to her for that. And then that, because I had evidence of that experience of her coaching me, I then was more eager to seek out coaching from that point forward. Because this is probably in 2007, I think. And so from that point forward, I continued to seek out people for different things. Not There's no one coach that can do everything. I'm going to tell you that, but I seek out multiple coaches for different areas of my life, and even different portions of our business. We seek out support for that. So this is absolutely 1000% a pitch for you to get a coach in the areas that you need them in, whether that's us or someone else. You're paying a coach to collapse timeframes. Now you can sit back and think through these things, and go back and forth with yourself for decades. Or you can just get a coach and make it happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days. It's totally up to you. You can pick years, decades, or 30, 60, 90. It's totally up to you. So I appreciate you sharing that, and mindset and a coach. So the coach is going to help you develop that mindset that's already within you. So my next question for you is, what's the biggest mistake, right? Now that I know I want to transition, you've talked to me about, like, you've coached me now, Steph, about the things that I need to be doing to get ready, to get prepared to make the transition. What's the biggest mistake that people make on their resume?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say two because I think it's twofold. I think the first one is that people write a general resume and they submit it to all job positions. So if you have multiple, I work with a lot of people who have multiple targets, just maybe lots of options out there. So they're applying for roles in very different areas and they're submitting the same resume to each position. And then it's not resonating with hiring managers and they're wondering why they're not getting callbacks. So I
Right.
think the biggest thing is to make sure that you're really targeting your resume to the position that you are applying to. So for myself, for example, I obviously don't have a job anymore as an entrepreneur, but I still use my resume for other things. So I have a resume writing resume, I have a coaching resume, and I have a
Mm,
workshop facilitation resume. And all three resumes talk about very different things in the work experience and in the career summary and the skills. They all talk about very different things that I do so that they can really resonate with the person who's reading it. And that way, I also maintain just a one-page resume just because I don't like writing about myself. But
who does? Right.
yeah. But the other part of it is when you are writing this resume for the hiring managers is really to focus on your accomplishments. So what people tend to do is they focus on the tasks instead
Mm,
of focusing on the way they make an impact. And it's okay to talk about tasks that you've done, like maybe you managed a merger and acquisition. That's great, but tell the reader why that matters. How did that impact the organization? What change did that make? What was your role in that? And really using your resume to tell a story. Each bullet point should tell a little bit of a story so that the hiring manager reading your resume can really see what value you bring to the table. And you would not believe the amount of resumes I've read that have bullet points that literally say attended meetings upon request. I mean, that is just a big waste of space. Everyone attends meetings when
Man.
required. We like, let's use this resume. We have limited space. And so using it to really make a difference is what you want to do with it.
And it's I think you hit the nail on the head when you said I don't like talking about myself, so the one page works for me, right? So that to me, that's the source of why someone would put attends meetings regularly on a resume is because I don't really want to talk about all this amazing, fantastic stuff that I probably complain a little bit about when I go home that I'm doing that I won't even bring up on the resume. It's such an oxymoron to me that you get in the trenches, you're doing this work, you're grinding, you're delivering results. It's just all this amazing stuff, working cross functionally, making sure you're hitting deliverables, deadlines, growing the P&L, saving the company money, but you just attend meetings regularly? Like and let's be clear, what you really want to put there is I go to these meetings I really don't want to go to all the time. That's what you really want to say, right? But you don't want to talk about all of those things. And Candace did a great job in one of our season one podcasts where we call it brag notes. And I when I was in corporate America, I kept a file and hey, if you want to use this, feel free to use this. This is my trick. I still use it to this day. I labeled a file in my Outlook, in Microsoft Outlook, PB, personal business, right? And the reason why I wanted it to be personal business is every time I go on my email, I got to be making a deposit in that box. This is my business. If I got all these other folders and subfolders, I got to be dropping something in there. And what that did was it made it easier to quarterly update my resume, to also be ready for my evaluations, my semi evaluation. When it's time to write that self eval, it made it so much easier because I just had this like one, two, three, four, like a laundry list of things. And some of these emails that I would keep would be from other people thanking me for something. So it wouldn't just be stuff I'd be sending myself. They said, "Oh, it was great working with you on this project," or "Man, great job on this," or "Appreciate you getting this done." I literally just file it. And so I just have this long list I can go through. And then now I'm not in the mix of thinking about what I did. I'm just taking something and transferring it. So that's my tip, my hack for you all. If you're listening and want to know how to overcome that, that's how I was able to, because I hated writing self evals too when I was in the workplace. So it's just not fun to be doing that. But at the same time, if I want to go ask for more money at the annual raise, or if I'm changing jobs or changing companies, that's what's going to get you the more money. That's what's going to open up the door for the conversation in the interview. So I appreciate you sharing that. And then we've got time for one more as we wrap up. And if you haven't already gotten your ticket, Steph's just giving you man, she's giving you a lot, but it's just a little bit of what she has planned for that closing night on the 17th of October. If you haven't already got your ticket, be sure to do that. 25% off right now. You can get using the code STEPH. Use that code to get 25% off and make sure that you're getting these resources. We were talking right before we started the live about some of the free resources that she's going to have available for you all as well. Now, when I started in corporate America, LinkedIn wasn't even a thing. And then it kind of became a thing at the midpoint, I think, of my career. And I jumped on it because I thought it was cool, right? And I started using it. But it is absolutely a thing now. So what would you tell, and we've got some folks on LinkedIn with us right now and YouTube, what would you tell the person that they absolutely either must do or absolutely shouldn't do as it relates to their LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is to get on LinkedIn if you're not. So many people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if a LinkedIn profile is valuable." I'm like, pretty sure it is. We can have this conversation, but definitely get on LinkedIn. At the end of my podcast, I say if you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn and connect with me there because that's just the best place
That's
to
number
be.
one. Right. Number one. Let's start there.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the biggest thing to do is to really use your profile. I think people hesitate from reaching out and connecting with people on LinkedIn just because when you think about Facebook and Instagram and different things like that, it's a little more personal, right? You're sharing pictures of your family and you're not really wanting to have strangers on your Facebook or Instagram. And so, but LinkedIn is different. So I've had people who are hesitant to post their work experience, who are hesitant to connect with people, who like locked their profile down. So there was like, you couldn't see anything. It was all like secure, only those connected to them. And, that's just not the intention behind
Right.
the platform. I mean, you don't need to share pictures of your family if that's not comfortable for you. And you can just do whatever you want to and use it more as that networking professional platform, which is what most of us really err towards, anyways. And it's just the people I find on LinkedIn have just been a lot more, willing to share, willing to help, willing to support each other. A long time, a few years, like about a year ago, probably. I met another career coach who lives in Croatia, and now we do monthly accountability meetings about our business growth. And so it just goes to show you can meet people all around the world. Never in my life did I think I would have a monthly
Mm.
coffee with someone in Croatia. And I mean,
Man,
you're in
that's
Texas,
amazing.
I'm in Canada. Yeah.
That's amazing. I want to be a
Yeah,
part of
it's
that
very cool.
masterclass. That's
It's
amazing.
a
So go
lot of
ahead.
fun. Yeah, yeah. So I just like I've met some really great people, and I think when I first started, I was scared to post. I was scared to reach out to people, as we all are when we start on any social platform. And I think the thing I realized is as I became more authentic and less worried about I need to make a sale or I need to make this
Mm,
connection for a reason, when I became more authentic about me and just meeting people for fun and getting to know them and seeing if it led somewhere, that is where the magic happened. That's
mm.
we got connected on LinkedIn, and I just know that like a lot of the people that I connect with now, we all met through LinkedIn in some way or another.
Right. I think that's so cool, and I'm happy you shared that because it does kind of take the like, what am I supposed to do here? Right. I love Mark Zuckerberg, and he's got a like a stronghold on social media, and so that's all you kind of know if you didn't start really early on LinkedIn. That's all you know. So then you come to LinkedIn, it's like, well, what is everybody doing over here? Like, because this doesn't feel the same. So I'm so happy you brought that up, that you're now connected with somebody in a whole other continent, like across way away, and you guys meet monthly, share ideas. I'm sure, and y'all are encouraging one another, and it's been a great accountability, probably too. Am I guessing right? It's been good
Yeah,
account.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm big on accountability. Big on accountability. I think again, when you talk about having a coach to collapse timeframes, that's what I'm talking about. So when you have accountability, boom. So you have taken a free social media platform and turned and found an incredible peer to build a relationship with, that's now providing accountability, that's helping you to grow your business, make money, and be better at what you do. I don't think it gets any better than that if you're on LinkedIn. So I think that's a
Mhm.
huge win. So before we even start talking about like go find a job, I think it's just a win for that alone. And to your point, how we connected, and I'm so happy that we did. I see Kay's in the chat. I appreciate you being here. She said authenticity is key and it opens doors. You guys are going to catch Kay LaFleur Anders on night 2 of the Career Transformation Lab. So be sure to check her out on night 2, October 16th. Again, it's a 3-day immersive experience, October 15th through the 17th. You're going to have Steph there as well, closing us out with some tactical strategies. And you've heard some stuff here tonight, and she's going to have some great resources for you to be able to put together that action plan that we talked about. If you know anything about the founders at the 5 Minute Career Hack, we are about action. We don't want you to come to another meeting, right, and just get a download. We want you to walk away with some stuff written down that you're going to go do next. Some stuff written down that you're going to go do next that's going to help you transform your career. There's not enough people, in my opinion, in this world that are happy with what they're doing. Yet we spend 60+% of our time working. And I think that has to change. So we're on a mission to do our part. I know we can't do it all. That's why we work with people like Steph. We work with people like Kay, Mickey Graham, who's also going to be there, Nicole Cooper. The lineup is amazing. Orlando Hayes and so many more. Helen Hannison from across the pond in London. So we've got an incredible lineup for you. coming up October 15th through the 17th. If you haven't already gotten your ticket, registration is closing soon. Get your ticket, use code STEPH, and we're going to leave a link across all our social media channels so that you can do that. And I want to thank Steph for taking the time tonight. I know you're busy with the young man in the evenings as well, running around. So I appreciate you taking the time to share some of your wisdom and expertise with everyone. And I can't wait. I know we've got a podcast that we recorded that's going to be releasing soon. And that's one you're going to want to tap into so you can hear more about Steph's story. I think it's phenomenal, and I think more people need to hear it. So I appreciate you being on tonight, Steph, and joining us for this live experience.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to be here.
Awesome. Well, you know what to do. Register, get your ticket, 25% off right now. Use the code STEPH. And as I always end every podcast, I love you and I'll see you soon.